a movement that doesn't need a mat. A lot of times, a movement pattern, let's say, there can be things done lying down as well, and it's possible to do those while just seated on a chair or maybe standing as well. Yeah, something. Yeah, that will probably have to be with an like a attachment, like a Word file or something, Karen, which we may do maybe next time. Yeah, that can also be done. Maybe I'll do it at the end. So just follow along with me. But maybe I have the file in Word format too. Maybe I can try to do. I'll try to put that too. So as you come up into the standing position, just taking a moment to connect. And even before actually do more like a still version, let's just do some warm-ups. Just open your arms. We work a lot with the shoulder joints, so, and the idea here is just do some shoulder joint warm-up, and then notice the elbows are moving, and then the wrists are also kind of joining. You can also do this like your hands here on your shoulders, and we're moving a little bit side to side, so lower body, pelvic joints, the joints around the pelvis, let's say, they're also doing something. Now slowly release the hands down, but bring the shoulders to the ears, tighten, tighten, squeeze, squeeze, release. Do that one more time and hold the breath in, hold, 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 hold. And then as you exhale, slowly release. Notice every time when we're doing these things, notice the changes, like what has happened? What has happened to your shoulders, for example, right now, and the joints and so on. And just something again specifically for the joints around the pelvis, just simple rolling the hips. And these are things that you can do anytime and every time, maybe multiple times during the day, reversing it more to the other way. They look basic, but they're so important actually, especially if you do them multiple times during the day. They're going to be very helpful. Now, just for the spine itself, when you inhale, open the arms out to the side, slow, just a little bend in your knees. When you exhale, bring the elbows together, round the spine. Inhaling. Exhale. You can try to increase your squat, either when you open or when you bring the elbows close, doesn't matter. This is called spinal cord breathing. So when we breathe, we're opening, creating space for the lungs, and also, as you can tell, rounding and kind of flexing and rounding, extending the spine. One more time. And then slowly release your hands, and I'm preparing now for the set that we have started learning in the last few weeks. So bring your feet parallel to each other. Make sure that the big toes are even a little bit close towards each other, more like outer edges are parallel. And then when you come here, allow the tailbone go down. So there is going to be a little bit of a sense of like tilting. And you can feel your spine upright here. Neck long, chin is slightly tilted towards the ground. And notice your knees are bent. Feet are really firmly grounding. When you find this position, and play with it. Sometimes it may be a little bit more kind, or maybe your legs may need to be a little bit wider. So just check with yourself. So when you find this, we call this, or this is called in a way like a Tai Chi posture. That's kind of really centered awareness. When you find it, there's going to be a sense of like ease. You will start to feel a sense of kind of opening. These are main energy gates in a way in Qigong, this part and this part. So you'll have a sense of openness, a sense of real engagement in your legs too. It's not just like randomly I'm like standing this way, but this is really like almost the posture itself, creating a sense of mood, a sense of like presence. So as you come here, you can bring your hands in front of the lower belly. That's like the dantian, lower energy center in Qigong. Or hands in front, maybe just some space in your like armpits. And as you are here, your eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. Just take a moment to become aware of this posture. And when you notice like the pelvis tilting back, just draw it a little bit kind of upward. So pubic bone in a way like pushing a little bit towards the front. So maintain that openness with that sense of your present moment awareness here. Notice yourself now between the earth and the sky. And you're in between, almost like a manifestation of these energies of earth and the sky. Earth energy is more like yin, kind of really deeper, grounding, calm, restful energy. And the sky is like more like mind, like active and can go anywhere, this yang energy. And we are, in a way, trying to represent manifestation or like a harmonized representation of these energies. That's why our life is so difficult. We're always kind of fighting in between, you know? I mean, in some respect, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but that's what I find a lot of times. This yin and yang kind of fight, war. So when I find some balance between them, then I feel like, oh, life is good, maybe. So bring your attention to your finger, your palms, these Laogong points. When you fold your fingers where the middle finger touches, that's the point. And now just take a few moments to explore any sensation between these palm to palm, kind of between your palms. Maybe there is nothing, don't worry about it. We're just kind of playing and bringing the mind like, oh, there's something steady, see? Like I'm opening my hands and I'm bringing them closer. So that the mind will slowly come and join to this practice. So as we move now into this set, the first one is inhaling, lifting the hands, exhaling, releasing. You can add a little bit of a bend in your knees. Inhaling, exhaling. Your hands are very soft and relaxed here. Your elbows are lifting, but you're not even like feeling as if your hands, your arms are lifting. Feel all of the movements as if you're almost like expanding, reaching forward from your belly, the dantian area. And then releasing. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, exhaling. Shoulders are relaxed down. Exhaling. Everything is coordinated with the breath, as you can see. Inhaling now, changing to the second one. Opening the chest. The first one is called like opening or harmonizing the chi or something like that, or commencement form, which is kind of classical in many Tai Chi also. That's how they begin. Opening the chest. And in this one, as you can tell, we're opening the chest. So this breath is getting bigger and wider and longer. That's maybe better word. And then exhaling. So breath is getting wider. Really filling in the lungs all the way down to the bottom. And then when you exhale, releasing slowly. And as you go through like that, you may start to feel the sensations in your palms getting really tingly. Or maybe a sense of warmth, maybe a sense of vibration might happen there. These are all normal kind of effects of the practice. So let's do that 1 more time, opening the chest. Exhale. And now moving into the next one, this is separating the clouds. You can have a wider stance a little bit if you like here. And then sinking down and arms cross here in between. And then you're around like the head, you're opening. Imagine this is like you have something heavy you're carrying kind of around the heart space. And here you're kind of just like separating them away from each other so that you have more space. And sometimes I like to think of this as like separating clouds to reveal the sun. And the names, I don't speak any Chinese, unfortunately. They can be translated sometimes differently. And the sequence of those also can be practiced differently by different teachers sometimes. I mean, the set is more or less the same, but sometimes They would do this one as the number 4 or maybe number 5. So they may kind of change a little bit. And we're going to do this one more time, separating the clouds. Inhaling. And exhale. And now we're going to change to playing with the rainbow. So opening your foot, doesn't matter which side, out to the side as the arms reach up. And now we're going to be playing side to side. And on this one, when the hand comes top of the head, try imagining maybe a connection between the top of the head and then this point in your palm. Maybe sometimes you can hold here. Right now we're kind of doing it a bit faster pace because there's going to be a couple of more that we're going to be learning today. Imagine this is like there's like a rainbow on top and you're playing with that. Dancing with the rainbow, playing with the rainbow. That's how it's called. So something related to clouds, we move to the rainbow. For those of you who are kind of trying to find some kind of easier way to memorize. And a lot of those are kind of related to the things in nature anyway. Dancing with the rainbow. And now we're going to change with the next one. This is something to do with monkey. There are many versions of movements related to monkey. And this one sometimes is called like back swinging monkey, or what they call arms rolling in a fixed stance. That's another one maybe. So have your hands at the beginning. I'll turn sideways this one. And your hands are going to be just one hand, front hand is going to be turning a little bit like that. And the other hand is going to go back. We'll make a whole circle. And then at one point, both hands are going to be meeting. And then after that meeting point, you may even like take a moment to feel these sensations between your palms again. And then to the other side. Let's do this just one more time. And pay attention, because these hand positions and this kind of movements will come. And then you get like confused, like, oh, what are we doing exactly with the hands? Sometimes. That's how it happened with me. So kind of just assuming it may play similar in your case too. And then do that one more time. And then coming now in the center. We're not doing this as many as we did for the other ones, but just taking a moment to be with me as we're kind of moving through the ones that we have already passed. And this one is drawing a boat. Rowing a boat in the middle of a lake. I think that's more like actual translation, or maybe proper translation. And you can imagine, you can make a fist with your hands and really this sense of rolling down if you like to. And the sinking in the knees is always up to you. You can go very light. You don't want to go there. Maybe your legs, or even because it will increase the heart rate. So if you want to go really hardcore, you can go really low. You don't have to. Just maybe this is how you're going to do. Maybe a gentle. Maybe you're doing this at the lake end, you know, the one that we were talking about earlier. It's a really small lake. Not very deep. Let's do that one more time. Last time. And then we're going to change. And there are almost like groups of movements sometimes, I guess, in this set. And now moving into a little bit more like twisting, and see just one arm reaching, lifting the ball. Lifting the ball or bringing the hand in front of the shoulder. That's actually how the translation is. And you're lifting the heel, turning, lifting, and kind of letting go anything that you don't want, anything that doesn't serve you anymore, that may kind of still take some space in your heart. Just reach to one side, the other, and then just take a moment now as we're transitioning into the other one. For the ones that you're doing both sides, I kind of do them less, just kind of to save time. And now for this one, we're going to be moving with both hands. same side. And this one is sometimes called like lifting the moon or turning the face to moon. So you can imagine you have ball, or maybe I sometimes like to think of it as like I'm carrying the moon actually. So gazing towards one side and then slowly sinking down a little bit with both hands moving together to the other side. If you want to lift the heel, you can do that. Some people like to lift both heels actually. Just from one side to the other. And the depth of this sinking down is up to you again. You can do it very gentle version. Maybe just like moving your hands in front of the belly, or maybe going deeper. I'll go just one more time to the other side, and then we're going to shift to the other one. And then just take a moment here. Feel kind of the shoulder area. Things are kind of starting to really move around there. And now the next one, this is called twisting waist and pushing the hands. So your feet can stay like this, or maybe you can bring them a little bit closer. And your hands are just pushing. See the palms pushing. That's just something to keep in mind, because later there's going to be things very similar to this, but they're called punching this time, so when we make a fist with the hand. So compared to like, this is similar to also the monkey one in a way, but this one is just like twisting the waist, pushing the palm. And it really works a lot with these oblique area and the liver and gallbladder on the side, and spleen and kind of digestive system on the left side. All of these moves actually related to doing something good for the internal organs. And the number of repetitions is up to you. Sometimes you do just like them 3 times and then be done in 15 minutes, but sometimes you do them 9 times and it takes like an hour. It's up to you. One last time, each side. And then now just taking a moment again, after you do this like side to side moves, now moving into the cloud hands. And this is also one of the classical moves, which can be done. It's very common move, that's why there are many variations. But the idea is to really gaze towards maybe your palm again, and then keep the mind kind of eyes connected with this palm point, and when the hands come to the side, you change the hands. Now the other hand comes. And then on the side again, you shift. And then the other hand is kind of following. It can be at the same level or maybe a little bit from the behind. Another way of doing it would be like that. Some people like to move it this way. So you decide if that feels kind of good for you or kind of better. Because some people feel dizzy when they really gaze their hands. So feel free to adjust. One last time. And then just taking a moment after playing with the clouds or cloud hands. Now those next three are new. I think we haven't done them in this class. We have done them maybe in the other one. And they have like a similar pattern. And in those, you're going to be stepping forward with one foot and then do the moves, and then step forward and then do the moves. So both sides are done separately. And sometimes some teachers are okay doing just one side and then they don't do. But I think to balance things, it's better to do both sides. And we're going to be doing maybe 3 times on each side. So I'll turn this way. So I'm stepping forward with my right foot. Bring your hands first onto the hips. And this one is called touching the sea and gazing to the sky. Or sometimes called like scooping under to take water and then to splash it out or something. So all sorts of variations. But the idea here is we're going to be leaning forward, really front knee bends. And then you lift up the front knee straight, gets straight, and then back knee is also gently, not like big way, but that also bends as you kind of do the arm movement. And if you add the hands, you bend the knee, hands come to the front, or touching the floor or scooping in or something, and then gazing up towards the sky. And the move exactly almost like represents actually what we're trying to do. Touching down to the water, gazing up, looking at the sky. One last time on this side. And then slowly bring the hands either in front of the belly to the stantian, or maybe on your hips, and step back. So bring your feet again parallel to each other. And now stepping forward with the other one. Same thing. One other thing also, just to maybe pay attention, have space between your heels, so that when you lean forward, it's going to be relatively easier to have kind of stable position. Again, reaching down to touch to the water, and then open up, gaze to the sky. 2 more times. Inhaling, exhaling, opening. When you inhale, you imagine you're really gathering from the water. And then exhale. And then release. Before we transition to the other side, again, bring the hands onto the hips. And then step back. Some people would like to come forward too, so it's okay, either stepping forward or stepping back. And for the other one, again, the idea is the same. And I'll do it like a bit diagonal here. Stepping forward with one foot, same as we did earlier. And this one is called pushing the waves. And you imagine you are like just in front of or somewhere by the shore, and you're like pushing the waves away. And then you retract your hands back when the back knee is also gently bending. For this knee also, please pay attention to keep the knee tracking second and third toe as much as possible. Because the knee likes to really kind of collapse down. Don't allow that. And if for any reason your knees are extra sensitive, don't do that. Maybe just like tiny bit of move. That's it, like just pushing the waves and then retracting. And this one is like symbolically, it seems like very kind of simple, but if you think about like the metaphor that is being used, like pushing the waves, it's almost like you're trying to change something that looks impossible. But imagine that you have this inner strength, or you can also imagine like you're building this inner resiliency as you're just gently pushing, almost like tapping into your core strength in your belly. Track the hands. Let's do that one more time this side. And then back. Just take a moment. Maybe shift your legs to the other way or adjust the position. Basically, we're moving the same thing for the other side. Exhaling. Let me push. Inhaling. Rolling. And some people like to also lift their foot. Feel free to do that. Sometimes it feels good and I do that, but sometimes I don't. Otherwise, your foot can be also on the ground too. Pushing the waves. Think about this like, oh God, it will never happen. Is that really so? We do so many things in life, actually, sometimes afterwards when we think about it, I don't know, how did I do that? In a good way, I mean. And then one last time. Pushing the waves. And then bring the hands back. Just take a moment again to kind of meet in between or align in between. And then this next one is kind of the similar idea. And it's called like flying pigeon opening its wings or something like that. Stepping forward again with the hands. And on this one, inhaling, opening the arms. So arms are about like chest level. And you're sliding kind of backward. And then exhaling, bringing yourself just a little bit forward. The move is in a way like smaller and the action is changing, or maybe not like up, down, but just like same level. Inhaling. Your foot, lifting the foot, maybe I should just come back, comes almost more natural in this one for me. So just check it yourself. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And now slowly changing, adjust the position, either bring it back and then open the other one, or maybe just like shift side to side. When you do this outside, you're not even like worried about stepping forward or backward. You just do wherever you are, but just like change kind of to the other side. Inhaling. Coordinating things with the breath. One last time. Exhaling. And now slowly bring the hands at the front. Align your position now so that they are again about like the shoulder width apart, more or less. Knees are bent, adjust the position. And this one is called punching in the horse stance. We're not going to spend much time and it's very easy anyway. But I'm just going to invite in this one, which we're going to connect with the meditation shortly, the idea of anger. And this is also a really good move for the liver. There's a little bit of twist. We're kind of working with the liver. And also we're almost like inviting this sense of, how shall I say, like controlled anger. Because anger itself, we all have it. And the idea is not really to get rid of the anger completely, but to manage the anger in such a way that it can turn something really like a learning experience maybe for some of us, or sometimes really it can bring like real change if we do it wisely. Instead of like going for a fight, maybe if we kind of act out of a bit more wiser place, maybe taking into account the perspective of the other side as well, then it's going to be kind of, we're going to be stronger to change things. And in the practice, we will do something about all these self-blames and self-judgments that we have towards ourselves, and then see if there can be kind of different ways of working with that. Making a fist with your hands as we begin. Your hands, palms are facing up towards the sky. Adjust the position. See? Take it back a little bit. And then when you are ready, inhale here. And as you exhale, punch your fist, and then bring it back. You can add this sinking down, punching with awareness. It's not just like random ta ta ta. Some people like to do it that way too. And they can add like ha, ha as well. But we're doing it more like gracefully. Knowing that something is not really like I like, but letting you know. Having this sense of like, it's having something in your hand, some I don't know, some sea of anger there. And then pushing. Let's do that just one last time each side. To the other side. And then as you come here, just take a moment to release your hands. And now bring them in front of the belly. And as we finish the practice for today, next week we're going to continue from here. Just making a few like centering moves, big circles, throw the energy, or almost like harmonize the energy back and store it in the dantian, the lower dantian area, lower the energy center. Let's do that one more time again with a nice breath in, exhaling. Bring your hand very slowly, as if almost like we're going through this whole center line. There's a big meridian line here again that helps to stabilize things. Each exhale, release. And as we close the movement part, you can let the web of the index and the thumb cross. And just circle your hands here a few times, palms on top of each other. And then reverse the circle. And now slowly release the hands, or maybe just like push them in a little bit. Release the hands as you open. Slowly bring your feet together. As we move now into the meditation practice, I'm just going to go to the front and sit. So feel free to sit or lie down on this one. And so we're going to be working with anger for this meditation practice. And anger and maybe like a corresponding quality, kind of the opposite maybe, forgiveness. And just for ourselves though. We don't have much time to do this for others. But I'm just going to tell you something that happened to me last week, actually. Two things. I bought something, like 3-4 items from a place where I had to drive out like 25 minutes or so, which is kind of long for me. And then I brought them home and I tried. They're kind of some props and some other things that I'm using in my classes. And some of them didn't work. So I thought, okay, I have to return 3 of those. And then I'm also like busy with so many other things. And then when I went to return those items, like drove almost like half an hour to this place, I realized that I forgot one of them at home. And then, oh my God, like first thing was, oh no, I cannot believe this. And then I thought, oh my God, I have to drive another like half an hour, and I don't really have this extra 1 hour to go back and forth to this place. And then immediately like, oh my God, how come you did this? Kind of like just like my inner conversation. And then like next day, or could even be the same day, I was supposed to do something. This was a recording for a private student of mine. And I prepared everything, and then I had my microphones that I'm using. And then I did the whole audio recording for her for about like half an hour again. At the end, I thought, oh my God, I'm done. I'm so happy. I realized that I didn't turn on the mic. And I was like, oh no, Nevin, not again. Like, how come you do that? And then you can imagine the corresponding inner conversation, which I don't want to go even there. But I trust these things may resonate with you. We tend to do those quite a lot. Because when anger comes, or this kind of judgment and irritation annoys, it's very fast. It immediately like kind of shifts from one thing to another. And then we may, or I may kind of stay like that, like, oh, I hate myself, I'm stupid, and I'm kind of, look at this mindfulness teacher that sometimes I like to tell myself. So mindfulness, my dear, thank you. Oh, so all those things. So I could have stayed there and then kind of let this thing build. From the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, this would mean like I'm kind of stagnating that energy. I'm kind of letting it build, let it accumulate, and it's gonna even like grow. And I would slowly, if I continue with this, I would be feeling like, oh my God, you're always like that. Oh, I'm all, and then I start to even like tell other people, I will always like forget these things, even though I don't like to be like that. So instead of doing like that, I chose to do something like this practice that I'll be guiding right now, a bit more like self-compassion and self-forgiveness. And it's the phrases that I'm going to be using are by Eric Kolvik, and I think it's available. The whole set is available on the internet, because he found a way to kind of connect with ourselves in such a neat way, with such a nice wording that I really like. And we're going to be kind of doing this and kind of reflecting on a similar situation may have happened in your life recently. So just taking a moment now, again, as we kind of shift now into the meditation, allowing yourself to connect with the body, connect with the posture. Notice maybe you're sitting or maybe lying down, it's all good. But just being aware, inviting the mind to become aware and connecting with the breath. Noticing the breath, maybe just like on its own rhythm. So just taking these moments to connect with the body, breath, Maybe again remembering this sense of being situated in between the earth and the sky. You as like a conduit, like this precious human beingness of the yin and yang, very kind of active as well as more restful and passive energies are manifesting. And now just your attention, have that on the breath, and imagine you're like receiving the breath as a gift, which is actually, in a way, it's a gift. We take it for granted, but it's a big thing that we have, and this capacity to breathe nicely. And as you take the breath as almost like a gift to yourself, maybe inviting some sense of a smile, a sense of goodwill, like, oh, a sense of like, oh my God, yes, I'm glad to have this breath coming in. Receiving the breath with a little bit of a gentle smile, inviting almost like a sense of openness, let's say, in your heart. And you can slowly bring your attention towards the heart and chest area. And imagine you're kind of taking in the breath, almost like through your heart. Or you may be feeling just the kind of heart and chest area expanding and contracting. And now I'd like to invite you also to bring into mind something that may have happened in the last, I don't know, in the last few days or a week or so maybe. Something that you felt really annoyed by, something that you did. And you judged yourself. Maybe you called yourself whatever. And you thought you were a failure. And it could be anything. It could be like especially like if you have some habits that you are having hard time to quit. Just notice any situation, or it may be something very simple. You promised something that you would do, and then you forgot, and then you judged yourself. This kind of a situation. Don't go to something like big places. Just like simple daily stuff. But even those simple things can be like a big in terms of their effect. Just something that you got mad a little bit about yourself, and you kind of blamed yourself. And you thought it was your fault. And you kind of really believed that. And then you thought, like, how come you did that? Something of that sort. And as you find that, become aware of the sensations in your body. Just take a moment to kind of feel your eyes open or closed. If they're open, just have a soft gaze looking downward. And notice how this whole thing feels in your body. Maybe something in your belly, something in your stomach, in your chest or throat, or in and around the body. This sense of like, ugh, like I hate this kind of, or I'm angry of some sort. Variations, let's say. And can you now just take a moment to recognize that? And to the best of your ability, just name it like, oh, this is self-judgment. Or this is kind of self-anger. Or I don't want to call hatred, but like, oh, I hate myself, did pass from my mind. And notice, again, we're kind of shifting, going slowly, step by step. This just sense of naming could allow you to just step almost like one step away, one step back from this thing that has happened. You're no longer like in the grasp of it. You can see, oh, I am judging myself.
And don't judge yourself because you're judging yourself either. Don't go there. Like it can be like cascade, multiple. And as you name this situation, slowly we're again like shifting from this place of, oh yeah, now I'm aware of like what's happening. A sense of like being present now with that thing that we're going through. In a way, like touching to this woundedness, let's say, inside, with some sense of compassion. And to do this, a lot of times it's helpful to bring one hand into the heart and chest, or maybe somewhere, maybe you can just like hold yourself, or maybe your hand can come to your face. Anything that feels not right for you. Or maybe your hand is on your lap or your kind of leg, but you have this like real sense of connection. And just taking a moment to feel the hurt in a way when you do these things. It's very easy. It's very kind of quickly jump into a conclusion like, oh, this was this, or like whatever thing that you come up with yourself. And as you have your hand on your chest, or even if it is not there, it's fine, but just have this sense of connection, this deep felt sense, like how it is really affecting your body. Again, almost like widening our perspective, widening our circle of kind of looking into this situation. Just realizing that there were causes and conditions when you acted this way. Maybe you were stressed, or maybe you didn't have time, maybe you were rushing, or maybe your mood was really bad or something when this thing happened. It was not exactly your fault, actually. So giving yourself almost like this benefit of doubt of like believing that you are blah blah. Maybe there were conditions, causes that led this kind of a thing to happen. That tightness, that blockage. And with this sense of like just spending a few moments, you're taking care of yourself, attending to this distress or suffering that you have about yourself. And taking a moment to again remind to yourself, oh, this is just all like being human, you know. It's only normal to make mistakes as a human being. As like a wise, compassionate elder maybe would do this. Oh, it's okay, my dear. It's okay to make mistakes sometimes. It doesn't really help to beat yourself like that or kick yourself like that, you know. As an invitation to let go and also almost like heal any wounds that may have been there, or maybe for many, for a long time, they may have been there. I would just use these phrases as Eric Kolwick has been using. He says, and these are suggestions, of course, if they don't make sense for you, you don't have to use them. I allow myself to be imperfect. I allow myself to make mistakes. I allow myself to be a learner, still learning this life's lessons. I forgive myself. If I cannot forgive myself now, may I forgive myself sometime in the future. And we will go one more round. maybe a bit slowly. I allow myself to be imperfect. I allow myself to make mistakes. I allow myself to be a learner, still learning life's lessons. I forgive myself. If I cannot forgive myself now, may I forgive myself sometime in the future. As Dana Falls says in her poem, forgive yourself. Now is the only time you have to be whole. Perfection is not a prerequisite for anything but pain. Perfection is not a prerequisite for anything but pain. Resting for a few minutes in this connection with yourself. Is there anything else that you would like yourself to know, or your own phrases, or the way you would like to communicate? Please do so. Gradually start to feel your breath again. As we come to the end of the practice, allow the breath to be bigger, fuller. You can open your eyes when you feel ready and come into any stretch that feels good for you. Thank you so much for your attention. And let me know if you have any questions, comments,